there, we just make the transformation. And Essington has been with me. Desmond Connor was also is also one of the founding people, and he would have been here anyway, so I might as well say that Dwight Ward, who himself was diagnosed, and his is also in remission, is also a part of the group. He was not there with us in the finding of it, but he should have been here with us this afternoon. And but he has some persons here on island that he's taking care of, and so it is just you and I today, Essington. Prostate cancer, and I'll turn it over to you now, Essington. Prostate cancer is often referred to locally as the old man disease. When I was a boy, I didn't even know what it was they were talking about, because they used to call it stoppage of water, because it affected your ability to pee. So that is what it was called. And so, Essington, based on your own research, based on your own thinking, tell the public how you think about it, and how is it that we can continue to be ahead of the curve in dealing with our prostate health.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edinburgh. As you said, Mr. Edinburgh, you started out with me wanting to give you support when you were going through your trial, when you were going through your adversity. I was there for you. And I learned so much by talking to you. And I'm quite willing to continue to want to help others. Because I have a strong family history of it's
yes, you told me
it's not only history, but not only your personal history, but your race as a black person, as a black man too. So I'm quite willing to help in whichever way I can, and give support. There's so many men out there suffering, Mr. Edinburgh, as you would know, suffering, and some of them are not aware of what they're suffering from. So our job is to help as much as possible, and I'm very much on board, and I'll continue to work with you.
One of the things, Essington, that there were two reasons why, and I said one of them at the time, why I didn't move forward with establishing the group at that time. One was that I was treating prostate cancer at the time, because it had progressed to cancer. I was treating prostate cancer, and more than anything else, all I have is my name. And I didn't want it to be sullied by persons saying that I am out there saying I'm setting up group because I want money to treat my health. And so for that reason, I didn't establish it then, or one of the reasons. Well, since I've been back, the next reason surfaced more after I've been back, because I didn't want to establish a grouping, a support group, and then if people reach out for support, we're not in a position to provide support. And so I've had discussions with the Prime Minister. In fact, I gave him permission to speak about my own situation, because I have always spoken about that publicly. I don't hide things. And so we are at the point where he's ready to make a contribution to a support group. There are different ways of establishing a support group. It could be just something loose. I always go for the more structured. It can be an NGO, not-for-profit, or it can be a foundation. But as a foundation, it takes a long time to establish. You have to have bylaws and all of those things. And you really can't accept any money, any contribution, until those things are done. It is easier to set up a non-profit NGO, and then once we are ready and have everything in place, we can move into a foundation. My thinking is, and then you will give me your opinion on it, please. My thinking is that a foundation would have more longevity. It is able to raise more funds. It is able to function in a manner that an NGO may not be able to do legally. And so I want that for any group that we establish, that it outlives us. It has purpose now and for the future. And so that's my thinking in terms of starting as an NGO and then progressing towards a foundation. What is your thinking, Essington?
Yes, well, I just said the foundation is more structured. It demands more time, more energy. But in the meantime, we could start doing something. We need to do something in Edinburgh, and incrementally we grow and be able to provide more support for people. But yes, I think we should start wherever and whenever we can and build up to possibly a foundation.
Well, I think that it's a space for men. And I say this because recently on the round table, a female journalist assumed, and I would say wrongfully assumed, that the reason why we find out late is because we are afraid of the finger. And even though I did whatever they call it, I did it and have been doing it for a long time, I still cringed when I heard her speaking about it. That's a woman speaking about it. And so I believe that if it's a space in which there are men and women, men would be more reserved to speak about it and maybe less encouraged to get tested. And I would use the word tested because even though I was doing the digital examination, when the suspicion came about, it was from the blood test, because the person who performed the digital test said to me, well, you know, it feels a little bit more enlarged than the last time. Now, because I've had an enlarged cancer and he wasn't feeling any bumps and things like that, he just thought, well, with age, it enlarged a little more. It is the test that showed that my PSA had risen to above 4. So I speak of testing. And that test was done up at the lodge. And as the PM referred to it yesterday, the lines are long. But when you're in that line, it's all men in the line. And so when you're making joke about it, you're making joke with another man. So what we want is a space for men. I believe that we would be more comfortable talking to each other about it. When we make a joke about it, we don't have to think, well, suppose I got, you know, that woman is over there hearing me, and suppose I have interest in her, and she know that those are the inhibitions. So what do you think about not just being a support group, but focusing on a safe space for men to discuss the needs for early examination?
Yes, Mr. Zimbao, it's so important to be able to feel comfortable doing that digital examination. And I've been to the lodge and since the inception, and more people are getting comfortable going there. And I say men joke about it, so that's where we get the comfort instead of feeling awkward. So yes, starting there, going at the lodge is important. That's an annual thing, once a year, and you can get very comfortable after a while. I see about 5 years now. It could be about 5 years now. Yeah, I've been going there. So yes, we could start. We could start at that point.
All right. Now, I expect, and I'm going to say that, I expect movement to happen with respect to establishing the support group. Well, I'm hoping that we would be more in sync, would be able to speak about the group rather than establishing a group by the end of next week. And there are other persons from different backgrounds who have agreed that they will come on board. So we will have about maybe, well, I'm hoping, I'm trying to reach Mr. Connon. That's why I couldn't get him to come here today. So if you're listening to me, Mr. Connon, please reach out. I left a message on the number that I have for you. But it was just the four of us. And back then, we said, it is not the number, it's the purpose. And interestingly, we were all men. And that is not to say that no female provided any support or assistance to me. But that kind of conversation happened among the four of us as men. So I am thinking that, and I'm not just saying just for this group, that what you need more is bringing men and having open conversation about the prostate. Because as long as you don't die young, as long as you live beyond 35, and that's the age now that they're saying. In fact, they're recommending people begin to get tested at 30. And so I think that history has shown, the statistics has shown, I think I'm an example of that because I told you it was just barely over. I think it was 6.4 when it was recognized. Nobody said it to me before, and I guess it was coming up before, but they don't say it. And so there are two questions I want to ask. One, even before your PSA get to over 4, once it has moved in the realm of 3, and there is a record of it inching up, do you think that that is something that the professionals who do that test, even though you're still within the safe zone, do you think it's about time that they begin to have a conversation with you about the possibility? They don't want to, and the reason they gave is because they don't want to scare people. But what do you think?
Well, of course, Edinburgh, you should start as early as possible to start having those conversations. But we will also find that sometimes you have the test, and the test show that your count is high, but it could be reason.
It could be a whole lot of reasons.
Good.
STDs. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just because your prostate is only enlarged. Mm-hmm. It could be a host of reasons. But what if it is? Shouldn't you have that conversation and be provided with all of the information?
Well, of course, but as you said, the most important thing is to start having the conversation about it, because we are so uncomfortable talking about it. And you can have prostate problems without having prostate cancer.
Exactly.
You can have erectile dysfunction, and that's, again, men are not willing to discuss, Mr. Edinburgh. Very embarrassed.
Even more unwilling than prostate cancer.
Yes, but yes, as I said, he's been in a comfort zone. And if we start discussing, I mean, as you said at the beginning, I mean, we as two men, we discuss these things. And not very often you find men want to sit down and discuss something like this, but we should. And the more we do it, and the more we increase the awareness, the more we're going to see people willing to discuss it. And
you just spoke about erectile dysfunction. So you understand now my reason for not just want to saying cancer, but a prostate health.
I agree with you. Prostate health.
Because all of these things will have some bearing on the prostate. And so I believe that the time has come, Essington. The time has come. And we need to have activities as well. And so I'm just saying this so that persons who wish to come on board, you don't have to be a part of the group itself in terms of, you can just be a supporter. But if you wish to be, get on board. Because we need to have conversations, discussions about the prostate health. How do we keep our prostate healthy? The research, as a matter of fact, when I was dealing with it, when I began to deal with it, because I still do research, I had seen where they were developing some test in England, or some vaccine, in England, where the same with the cervical cancer, where they felt that if you had that vaccine, you would not develop prostate and cancer and so forth. All of those discussions are in the global space. But if we have a grouping, then these are the things that we can also look at. I want to remove the taboo from talking about your prostate health. So should this be one of the focus of the group, to remove the taboo from talking about it? And, where we could get to the point where we could just talk about it even to a woman and don't care. But it has to start with that secure space in which we feel secure. So should the group look at that and look at the ability to bring men together to have that conversation?
Well, of course, if we continue to see it as a taboo topic, of course, it's going to be uncomfortable for us to be talking about it. So we have to continue having discussion as men. As I said, I want people to know that we didn't just come up with this idea. We've been having discussion for years now.
Yeah, for years now.
And so this is the point now where we're ready to go forward and really increase the awareness and make men more aware and feel more comfortable talking about something like this. As I said before, one of the thing about prostate health, or lack of prostate health, is erectile dysfunction, and that is a topic. That's a very taboo topic for men.
But it is, hold on, because it is a serious topic, not only in St. Kitts and Nevis, but it is serious throughout the world. But because of our culture, and because of the things that are said about black men, and their machoism and their...
Exactly.
How should I put it? Their energy and all of those things. It is even more taboo within our society, because we are considered to be the consummate sexual animal. Let's put it that way. And so, erectile dysfunction, or it's called ED, is even more difficult to be discussed in our culture. And I believe that the more comfortable that persons would be to discuss these things, the better it would be for us as men. And so I just want you to, speak to even the younger men. What's your message to them in terms of how soon do you think they should begin to have the conversation, even with their friends? And of course, how soon do you think they should begin to consider having tests to see what is the state of their prostate?
Well, the tests said in Bow, you have to be very careful. You don't want to build up fear in young men.
No. It's not fearful.
But as I said, as you started out by saying, we could have the discussion about prostate health, and that is so important, because prostate health could cover a wide range
Exactly.
of topics. And your overall health is so important because that impact on your prostate health. If you're predisposed to prostate cancer and you're not looking after yourself, well, chances are you're going to eventually develop prostate cancer. So your overall health, your overall well-being is so important. The way you eat, exercise is extremely important. And as you mentioned, stress is a killer. We know.
Of course.
Stress, and if we can control stress, it helps a lot in cutting down your vulnerability to prostate cancer.
And I'm sure removing the taboo would be a stress buster. But let me
Well, of course, removing that taboo, that taboo topic in itself is very, very stressful. So if you can remove that taboo and make people more comfortable in discussing it, I mean, like the two of us discussing it, I mean, not many men could sit down and discuss these things. I mean, they want to put it aside.
Let's say on the far end they could, but it needs a certain openness in your mind and a certain comfort level to be able to just talk about it without stressing yourself in talking about it. But let me, before we open the line, let me give you my story as a young man going to. And Mervyn is my friend, Dr. Laws, let me say. So if you hear me refer to him as Mervyn, that's because of friendship, not disrespect. That is, he was my doctor. Even after Dr. Douglas returned, I went to him and I said, listen to me, Mervyn is my doctor and I'm not moving, but I've come to give you one visit and pay you some money and then my daughter will come to you. That's what I did. So, Mervyn has been my doctor since my early 20s. And when I got to, I think it was 33, 34, somewhere there, when I went for my biannual checkup, he said to me, I want you to begin to think about taking the prostate examination. I think you should start from the next time, which is 2 years down the line. So I say, oh, that's Marvin, what are you talking about? What? But that time it was the finger and the culture. I said, Marvin, what are you talking about? I said, you're not going to get the opportunity to do that. You're my friend, but not you. And he said, all I'm asking you now is to begin to think about it. So the next 2 years later, when I went back, he asked me if I thought about it. I said, not me, huh? Ain't crossed my mind. He said to me, Austin, you're my friend. You're not just my patient. You're my friend. So here's what I'm going to say to you. When you come back the next time, be ready to do it or I am not examining you. I just laughed it off and I went. So 2 years later when I went back, I really see the man got me file on his desk. Because normally the file is with the nurse. He has it on his desk. So he said, before we begin the examination, Austin, you know you're taking that test today. I said, Marvin, I don't know that. He said, well, okay. Here's your file. Go to another doctor. You're my friend. And as my friend, he said, if you were just a patient, I probably would have said, well, you have your right. But as my friend, I can't continue to examine you if you're at the age where you need to. I'm telling you, it's the hardest conversation that I ever had because I was not ready or prepared or wanted to or had any intention of going to another doctor. So I said, my Marvin, what is this? Is blackmail? He said, yeah, it's blackmail. He said, it's blackmail. But if you're not doing it, I am not seeing you. took us about 20 minutes because I normally would have been the last patient.
Right.
It took us about 20 minutes, maybe 20 to 25 minutes before I realized the man dead serious, and I said, okay, all right.
So, Mr. Mbalo, imagine you, who are quite aware, and there are people out there who are less aware than you, who would harbor that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But the important thing at Mbalo is that we get accustomed to the testing, and
Exactly.
and the testing, and it is proven that sometimes you even missed it after you don't do the digital test and the blood test. You may still miss it.
Exactly.
And there's some people who would have the radical view. But if you're going to die from prostate cancer, you're going to die. Nothing you could do about it. But the important thing, Mr. Mbauer, is detection. Early detection is very important.
Exactly.
And we are talking about the quality of life, not the quantity, not the quality and not the longevity, but the quality of your life.
Exactly.
Because you could have the prostate cancer and live
10, 15 years.
live for a very long time.
But your quality of life will continue to deteriorate with the coming years.
With the coming years.
Yes.
But because of your awareness, you'll be able to live a much better life if you have early detection. So that's the important thing, Mr. Limba. I want to encourage people to be more open to early detection, be more open to testing, whether it's the blood test or the digital test. Be more open to it.
And even though I've said to Marvin personally, I've thanked him personally for that bit of blackmailing, I want to say publicly that I thank him for it.
Right.
Because it was as a result of that, because at that time the blood test was expensive in St. Kitts, and then the Rotary bought the program where you got both the digital and the blood test. And it was because of that why, when I realized I'll be able to get the blood test as well, that I had no problem going when they started. So I want to thank Marvin, and I want to say to persons who, it's not being afraid, because with me it was not being afraid. With me it was not knowing that it is a better decision to make. For me it was just a cultural thing. Mm-hmm. And my culture said that should not happen. And so I want to say to people, no, that's not the way to go. Because if you find out after 4 years, even if, after it's at the fourth stage, even if you find out by blood test, you cannot get any confirmation without something digital. It may not be a finger, but the scope that they're going to put up in you to get the tissues from a biopsy. Because the only way of confirming cancer is by way of a biopsy. And so my thing is, put that out of your head. Forget the culture, because you're not afraid of it. Just know that you're doing the right thing for you, and it ain't nothing about what the culture say. It's all about your health. And so that's what I would say to them at this point.
So you should be thankful for Dr. Lars for that. Because there's some doctors too who have this lackadaisical attitude towards the testing. I mean, they're part of the culture. There are some doctors who have that kind of attitude, nonchalant, lackadaisical attitude. Well,
if you don't want to, you don't want to. But I'm saying
exactly.
He put our friendship ahead of a patient-doctor relationship, where the patient ain't going to do the test. So he said no. I'm your friend, and he kept emphasizing on that. And he was my friend. He is my friend. And I'm telling you the truth.
That's a very good message. That's a very good message. And so we're not just encouraging men to discuss it, but we're encouraging professionals to help spread the awareness. Exactly. And to be more serious about this and get young people to start thinking about the testing early on in their lives.
All right, Essington, we're going to go for a commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to allow persons the opportunity to call in and speak on this subject matter. I think it's a very important matter. And before I go, because when you come back, the line would be open, I want you to understand that we are now in the process of putting the NGO together. And this, we will take it higher to a foundation status. And it will be a prostate health support group for now. But as we get to a foundation, it will be Prostate Health Support Foundation. I also, and I want to put the name before you, because we had this discussion back then, you, Connor, and myself, and we had come up with the name, the Blue Tie Prostate Health Support Group, and that's because the color of prostate is blue, and a tie is more masculine. I also want to give another option that somebody said to me, why don't you call it Blue Jacket? So I want the public to take those things into consideration, and we would be open to your calls once we come back from our commercial break.
Go Delta, go Delta, reliable, go Delta, dependable, go Delta, Delta. If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta, don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, Go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place it should be. Delta Petroleum, baby.
Every day we're faced with choices. To spend or to save. To delay or to stay on track. It's discipline that shapes our future. Because discipline means making the choice today that pays off tomorrow. Remember, discipline, choice, pays. A message from the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Have you heard that Mind, Body and Soul is back?
Yes, Mind, Body and Soul is back on Sundays at 4 p.m. only on Freedom FM, hosted by the inspiring Julie Charles. This is your go-to show for thought-provoking and uplifting conversations. Every Sunday, dive into topics that nourish your mind, body, and soul. From wellness tips to personal growth to deep conversations, Julie brings you the stories that inspire change and spark reflection. Don't miss out. Tune into Mind, Body, and Soul on Sundays at 4 p.m. and let Freedom FM guide you to a more balanced and inspired life. Mind, Body, and Soul on Freedom FM, Sundays at 4 p.m.
What if your money did more than sit in an account? What if it built dreams, supported families, and empowered futures? At St. Kitts Credit Union, we're more than a financial institution. We're a family that believes in your potential, rooted in people helping people. Enjoy competitive savings rates and low-interest loans for mortgages, vehicles, education, and more. Need security for you or your loved ones? The Family Indemnity Plan and Loan Protection Insurance give your loved ones peace of mind, whether you're saving for school, building your business, or planning for tomorrow. SKCU is here for you. It's not just about banking, it's about belonging. Contact us at 465-2272 or any of our branches. Learn more online at www.skccu.com. Become a member today and be a part of something greater.
FreedomFM1065.com. From St. Kitts and Nevis to the world, Freedom FM 106.5 FM. Get the Freedom FM app now. Just search Freedom FM app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and start listening today.
Well, welcome back, and the telephone is already ringing, so we will be going to the phone momentarily. But for those who do not know the numbers, let me just say the numbers: 465-0546, 465-6474, or 662-1065. And let's take our first call, Lexington. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to Issues. Yes?
Okay. It's down to the reason, you know?
Yes.
Think about health, you know. The health, we don't have that intact the way it's supposed to be. The health for all of us. You know, okay, before we want to extend best wishes to all who have kind of health issues. And you get them with us. You know? I want to say to you that all these illnesses and diseases, they are preventable. They are preventable. And it just we start having, you know, that's part of the fun of us. Because once we eat and drink and think, you talk to a lot of people mentally. Once we eat and drink and think as we ought to, and think there will be a no-no in my life, you know. Seriously, I pull these things from myself, and at times we acknowledge it and change it.
So, caller, let me ask. I'm just trying to crystallize that point. Are you saying then that in terms of our prostate health, we also need to take into consideration the things we consume?
Yes, of course. The things that we consume and things that we don't consume. There's things that we should be consuming that we're not consuming. We see it as rabbit. We see them as rabbit food and no. And things that we ought not consume, what I call these things are them things that we are problem. Yeah, and then now, as I said before, our state of mind, mentality, our thinking, our thoughts, all that have to do with wholesome health too. And we failing to acknowledge these things, and we are failing to our detriment. Because it comes upon us, you think it's easy to get them kind of results, and your family members who so pretty. At 4 score, me go for, you know, me personally, you know, for 4 score.
I'm aware, Ross. I'm aware.
And then me go for 4 score. And me feel like me 18. Because I am careful what I put in my mouth. I am careful how I think. Yeah. It is just simple as that. Oh, we making it just big hullabaloo. And I know why it's big and it become a big hullabaloo, you know, because you see those bad habits, they become addictive to them. Yeah,
Okay.
become addictive to them. Anyhow, once again, we want to take thanks to Christian, and we want to extend best wishes to all who are going through their problem. You know?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, brother, for calling. And so Lexington, our first caller, and the caller is focusing on what we consume, and think that whatever we do with respect to the information that we will bring out of this organization, that part of it need to be informing men and the public at large as to the importance of what your diet is and how it's good or bad for your health.
Well, I agree with the caller totally. What you eat and what you think, especially what you're thinking. Some people ruminate a lot about negative stuff, and that is stress. And as I said, stress. When stress impacts your body becomes vulnerable to anything. And so your overall well-being, your overall health is important, and that's the way you build resilience against any diseases, not just prostate cancer. But a very, very good point. Your eating and what you're thinking, those are crucial elements of good living.
I want to also, apart from stress, because stress is important, because my oncologist, Dr. Leon, when I went to her initially, healthy eating, I mean, that was part of the first consultation. And I said to her, well, I'm already just on fruits, which is the truth, because I needed to lose weight. Because if you're above 200 and I think maybe 10, well, the ideal weight for radiation is 200. You're above that, it has dangers. That's what it said. So she said, well, what fruits are you eating? And I start calling. And she said, cancer love sugar. This, no. That, no. This, no. They're fruits. But the level of the sugar content was still a danger to you. And so, bananas, for example. If you are ailing from prostate cancer, don't touch bananas. Level of sugar is too high for you. Pineapple, strangely, might be acidic, but it is loaded with sugar. Now, and so the caller is right, and I'm saying this to say that part of the information aspect, because when we have to share information, would be about healthy eating, what food is best for prostate health, and I want to emphasize always on the word health, and it takes research, and so these are the things that one of the things that I believe that we should be focusing on in terms of this organization. And as I've said, I've thrown out 2 names to the public. I probably would like to hear your comment, and let's have a conversation on this subject matter. Where the men out there, don't be afraid, because I'm going to tell you, Essington, is a lot of men, and some men who hold prominent positions in this society or held, was afflicted by prostate cancer. A lot of them got over, as I have. They got the treatment, and the treatment put the cancer in remission and so forth. But a lot have also gone to the great beyond, because when they found out, it was too late. A lot of others who had an opportunity began to stress. Grease, you can't be eating fried things. I'm saying all of that is part of has to be part of the discussion if you're discussing prostate health. I mean, maybe I've backslided in some of the food. I think I have, but I know I have. And it's one thing though. The treatment is fierce, it is strong, and sometimes you'll find that you have to eat certain things that you should not have, that you were told not to eat when you were diagnosed. Because now if you're doing radiation, it affects your metabolism. It knocks certain things out. Not as bad as chemo. Chemo seems to just throw everything out. Radiation is selective in but you still have to build up your immune system. And so,
But back to the caller, the first caller. I think I pick up the voice as a Rasta man.
Yes.
And we need to embrace the Rasta culture as far as the lifestyle and of eating well. I mean, not eating meat. Yeah, and the spirituality, the meditation, those are very important aspects of living healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, which could reduce your vulnerability to prostate cancer or any kind of cancer. So that's important, and we must thank the first caller for making those very important points.
All right. No, like I said, this is not a sexy subject, eh? This is still a taboo subject.
Very much so.
And so you will find persons. As a matter of fact, what I have found and what I've heard when other persons speak of it is more women calling about it than men. So there is still some taboo aspect that we need to get over. We need to be we need to take into consideration our own health and our own well-being. And none of us know it all. Trust me when I tell you, when I thought I began to eat so healthy because I was only consuming fruits.
And did you say you regressed a bit?
Yeah. Well, yeah, my greatest weakness in eating overtook me again, so I have to try it out again. Bread, But you know, bread is the soul food of the Caribbean.
I'm not for sure in St. Kitts.
And so sometimes, even if you had a good meal, a nice balanced meal, you are never satisfied. You don't feel satisfied unless you have a little piece of bread with it or after it.
And that's why it's so important for us to encourage people to adopt, see it as a lifestyle, and not just to do it to prevent them from getting sick. But if you see it as a lifestyle, it becomes a habit to you, becomes second nature to you. So you eat properly, you rest properly, because sleep again is important. So it's about your overall health. As I mentioned, your spirituality. I'm not talking about religion. I know you're not into religion, but spirituality.
I'm high into spirituality, trust me.
Good.
Not religion, but spirituality.
And that's very important.
We have another call coming, so let's take this call, Lessington. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Issues.
Good afternoon, Mr. Edinburgh.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Well, the topic is a good one, a healthy one. And so the caller there was so correct, like you all have agreed to, as to the importance of a healthy eating. And the good guest just mentioned about sleeping. And of course, the mind is so important as to what you put in the mind to prevent and block out stress and negative things. And so I know persons, of course, have their own way of thinking about spiritual stuff, but I can tell you, even as I was sharing with a cousin of mine this morning on the phone, pertaining to what we put in this temple, not only the things that we eat, but the things that we say. I use the word of God a lot, and I'm telling you, it would have to be in a very detailed manner for you to understand how much meditating on the word of God and allowing the word of God to manipulate my mind, how sleep comes better and better, the relaxation of the body comes better and better. My good friend, the Eli X, spoke about he's going towards fourth school. The same with me. Praise God, with the help of the Lord. But I want to add that it isn't everybody, and the best of us do not easily eat healthy, unfortunately, for different reasons. And so the program, or what you all are trying to put into being, is good and healthy. So nothing is wrong, especially those who are of, well, I shouldn't compare, but it's a good thing. The younger you start, like Mr. Edinburgh was drawing that example of Dr. Lawson himself and so on. The younger you start to go and probably do a test. Or if you think that you can so eat healthily so you don't need a test, that's something different. But what you all are speaking about is good, and I want to commend that something like that should be established, because you can never tell who need help in relation to these areas. So it's a good program. God bless.
Thank you very much, caller. And so, Essington, again, we had another caller, and he spoke to the importance, even, he spoke about the diet as well, but he spoke to the importance. I think that his focus point was the importance of information, of getting the necessary good information into the public so that people can, even at a young age, access it and do the thing that's right or better for their health.
Mm-hmm. And that is exactly what we're encouraging. We're encouraging people to start thinking seriously about the lifestyle. And as I said, this is. I mean, there are people who would tell you plain out why this can happen to you, as I said before. But Mr. Edinburgh, we want to emphasize the point that is the quality of life. There's so many people who are living, Mr. Edinburgh. You go to the hospital and up there doing dialysis and those sort of things. And they're not comfortable doing these things. So we want to encourage the quality of life. The quality of life. I mean, we don't know when we're going to die. So we can't thinking about quantity, how long you're going to live. I know the last say he living, and which is good. He want to live.
He's heading for 80.
He's heading for 80. I mean, and he looks
he's
well.
in his 70s, eh? So he's on that part of heading for 80.
Which is nice. And you could see he's living a quality life. And that is so important. And as I said, we're here to help spread that information and encourage. And this is not going to be a talk show for us. We are already planning and doing things which we know are going to impact and men who need that kind of help.
I mean, again, and I would say this here, because you and I would not be the only two people to talk about these things, but fundraising is always important. Because unfortunately, anything reasonably good will have a cost to it. And again, I'm going to speak about the word productivity. And I'm not talking about now sexual activeness. If you don't do what you should do, and by the way, I believe that keeping your prostate healthy can be achieved based on how you live, and getting prostate ailment can be contributed to by how you live. So in other words, non-chronic diseases have a lifestyle element in why it happens, or why it happens so soon, or why it happens so severely. And so we have to encourage a healthy lifestyle. And apart from that, we have to be able to get information and find a manner, or all manners, because these days, you know, the people who you're going to reach out are a multiplicity of channels, mediums, information channels. And so we are going to have to find the ability and the skill set to take our message in all those places. And so I believe that it's a good thing. I'm happy that we have come thus far. And you may not, even though I told you then, but I'm still going to say, you may not know how much it means to me, or how much it meant. It still means, and that's why I'm saying a lot to me, and that's why I'm saying means, but how much it meant to me even more then, when you reached out and Connor reached out, and that's because I wasn't keeping it a secret.
Good.
And so that is one of the things that I want to speak about. we need to encourage person to speak about their issues, because people like to talk about the C word, and that is when you get to the of having any form of cancer. They need to they try to kill you even before you're dead, and you yourself try to kill yourself. That's when you become stressed, because as soon as you hear you have cancer, you say, "Oh my God, cancer!" And I'll give you an example. As strong as I was and had that mindset that being a labor bring me down, when the diagnosis, the official diagnosis came, it put me in a tailspin for about 2 weeks. And he took two bad words from a good friend of mine. And I'm saying bad word because that's how he spoke to me. And maybe if he didn't speak to me in any other way, I would not understand either. I might not have heard him. But he took two bad words from him to get me up out of being home with my light off and get up, put on my light, get a bath, because I not go nowhere, so there was no need for the 2 days and so to bed, because me bed all the time, and put on my clothes and come to bath here and do what I needed to do to begin to access the treatment. So it did put me in a tailspin.
Well, I'm so happy that you're so comfortable having this kind of discussion and talking publicly about it, because that's what we need. I mean, here you went through this difficult period in your life, and you're quite willing to share it with the public, because you know it can help in changing minds and encouraging people to adopt certain lifestyles, which would make them much more happier. But yeah, I'm amazed, and to see that you could talk about this publicly. 'Cause it's not easy for most men. For most of us, it's not easy.
And so that's why I'm hoping that we can create a space where we can bring in other persons than myself who have treated and still is in remission. And I'm telling you, I mean, I know a lot, because seemingly once they get to know that once we get to know that you were afflicted, it kind of build up that camaraderie. We're comfortable to say, well, I treated it too, but to say it in public, a lot of us are still, for some reason, afraid to say it. And I believe if we can get some of the successful men in life who have had it and who have treated it to come out and speak to men generally, and not just men who had the same ailment, I believe that would encourage, put us in a better place as men. What do you think?
Yes, very much so. And we are on the way to doing exactly that. As I said, this is a start, and we're going to continue to talk about it, and talk about it in a way that would make men feel comfortable talking about it. It could be a very sensitive issue. But as I said, you using your life story, a real case story, to help others, and this is great. I'm very much encouraged by what you're doing, and I think it make it much more easier for some men to discuss. I think you would encourage more men to want to discuss a topic like this.
30 seconds for your final word. We believe me, I was saying we're going to do 2 parts, but it is 3 o'clock now. 30 seconds.
Yes, Mr. Mbao, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this group. As I said, this is a long time coming. We started this discussion a long time ago when you were going through your own difficulties. I know that we're at a point now to able to help others, and I'm very happy to be part and encourage more men to take part in this group.
All right, well, let me thank you as well for coming in, Essington. The important thing for me is that we are on the move. And we are on the move to create a better space for men. And when I say better, a space where you can feel more comfortable to discuss your prostate health and other things, other challenges that men face. I know, I don't believe, I know that there are some subjects that men don't even discuss with their wives. No matter what it takes, they will not. And we have seen marriages broken, and we have seen lives go separate ways as a result of those things. But they will talk about it with another man because it is a man. And so, you something you wanted to say?
Yes, and something I forget to mention about a meditation center, which is on the same road with the Prime Minister's constituency office. Mm-hmm. That's in New Road, or Calfesta Village. Mm-hmm. Yes, and as we talk about stress being a big factor as far as overall health and posterity is concerned, yes, I encourage people to go to that meditation center.
All right, well, thank you very much. And so let me just say that it was a pleasure speaking about this with you, Essington. We are on the move, and I have no doubt in my mind that it would be successful. So I'm asking the public to listen out. We will get information to you, and certainly we will create forums. And pretty soon we are hoping that we can create open forums in which we can discuss men's prostate health and other matters relating to men. This has been Freedom FM's Issues. And today, your host, Austin Edinburgh, with our guest, Essington Watts. Well, coming up next is Island Rhythms. And so, we're out of here, and I will see you sometime next week, maybe, on Issues, but certainly Sunday night on The Conversation.